Craft brews and casual conversations. It is. We both got the case of the Mondays, I would say. Might be an episode in which I do more of the talking than my trusty companion, my my cause for my nocturnal emissions, and just my love, Rob. He's here.
Yep. I am here.
He's here. He's via the cell phone, booting up the computer, and that's all right. Sometimes in life, things don't go the way you want them to go, and we can talk about it. All right. Say the thing.
Oh, cue it, please.
You're about to hear the greatest show of your life.
Dude.
Dudes with brews on a porch with Rob and Drew.
Here we are. I am drinking a beer that I bought from a brewery, which is an establishment that indeed makes beer. In case you didn't know, but now you do. I'm from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, Three Sheeps Brewing Company. I am drinking their Southern Silk. It is a 12th anniversary edition Imperial Stout, aged to perfection in bourbon barrels, then infused with cocoa nibs, vanilla, and pecans for a taste that's pure Southern soul. 14% on the ABVs, 0 on the IBUs. It came to me in a bomber, which I like buying the bombers because I like the bottles. I like the way they look. I like the way they feel. But the problem is you have to drink them. You can't. Well, I could maybe try to find a fake cork thing again and put it in there. But it's really a beer that you should be sharing with friends. And I wish right now that I was sharing this with you, Rob. I wish you were next to me. I do, because
I wish the same. I do.
I cried today, Rob. I cried. I sobbed.
I'm jealous. Do tell.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
Why not? I think crying gets a bad rap. Sometimes you need that release.
Maybe. I'm struggling. I'm struggling in areas of my life. Everybody says, "Oh, summer's off. What a treat, right?" Actually, a summer off is putting a lot of pressure on me. One is that I'm trying to be present with my kids. I'm trying to do a lot of fun things with them that we might not be able to do during the year, right? That all costs money. I look for the free things to do. I bring them to the free things, but then I'm bored afterwards, which it is what it is. We talked about it last week. Boredom is good. Too much boredom is not good. You need to find that balance. Along with that, I'm trying to get homework done. I'm still in grad school, still working on that. This next class that started today is it's a lot, and trying to navigate through that while tending to a 2-year-old all day and a 10-year-old and occasionally a 14 or a 15-year-old. When my daughter's here, the back half of the week, every other week. And it's a lot. It's getting to me. I'm not in a normal routine. You know, we go on walks every day. I run as much as I possibly can. Running helps me out. But I just feel like I feel like I am not doing good as a dad, because I'm having some arguments with one of my kids. I'm trying to give perspective, trying to remain, trying to actively listen to what they have to say, and I'm trying to give life advice. And it's just it is a struggle, and I feel like I'm doing a bad job. I feel like I'm failing, and it's not easy. It's not easy.
You should just stop feeling that way.
Yes, you're right.
You're the fucking dad, man.
Oh,
what you say is right. The fact that you're trying to listen to them, that's your problem right there.
yeah.
I mean, I remember growing up and there's
The beer's
there's not something.
Yeah, I know. The beer's good, by the way. It's got it's got the bourbon taste. I get the vanilla. I get the pecans. It's good. Pecans remind me of my dad. My dad used to make bourbon pecan pie. That's really good. It was good. It was delicious. But yeah, and then I started thinking about I just started thinking about like the shit that I like to do during summers that I haven't been doing. I like to occasionally unwind and play video games. I finally finished one book. I read a book in 4 days, which is pretty quick. It was a pretty good book. Towards the end, though, it got a little like, I feel like there was some like political agendas in the ending, and I was like, that's kind of a bummer. But overall,
I mean, Harry Potter's a weird. Yeah, I mean,
no. I read Hidden Pictures.
oh, okay.
It was overall a decent book. I enjoyed reading it, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm trying to do all this stuff, man. I'm trying to be a good husband. I'm trying to actively take care of what I have to take care of at home, not put all the burden of home things on my wife. Be a dad, but at the same time, do things that help me out, help me, take my mind away from things. I just haven't been able to do that, and I feel like I start reflecting on like I think to myself, I wish my kids understood where I'm coming from. I wish my kids had more of like a visual or an experience of my childhood. And, and I don't say this with any malice. I love my parents, but they weren't around. They weren't. My mom worked all the time, 6 days a week for the most part. I saw my dad every other weekend. He worked in retail. Even when I was there, he wasn't really there. My mom came to some of
Do you think that your parents didn't have the same thought processes that you have about? I wish that my kids understood this and that, which you absolutely cannot fucking do because you're a child when you're a child and you don't get the idea of what your parents are trying to do for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the same thought process you're having now. You're trying to change the game based on what you went through as a kid, but you're still focusing on it through the perspective of you as a kid looking up at your parents, like they didn't have the time to do things with you or whatever. You do plenty with. You're a great dad.
No, thanks.
It's like, but it'll if what you're doing now is not enough, then it'll never be enough for you, and they will never understand how much you try to do for them until they get to the point where they have kids and they start asking these questions and then go like, oh, now I get what my dad was saying. Luckily for them, they have a podcast that they can go back and listen to you shit on yourself and go like, I'm a terrible fucking person because I couldn't take my kids to the Milwaukee Zoo. I'd taken it to the Fond du Lac Petting Zoo. But money's tight.
Well,
and what are you gonna do?
We'll go to the Milwaukee Zoo, but it's just more like
those were examples, by the way. I didn't mean to be. I wasn't trying to be.
No, you're fine.
Spot on.
I don't. I don't know. I don't know if my parents thought of how they were brought up, but like if that's the case, I guess I don't really know how my parents were brought up. I kind of do. I kind of have an understanding of where certain things come from, but then it's like, why didn't they try to change it, or why didn't they try to? And maybe they did, and I'm not aware of it, like you said. But anyways, so that's on my mind, and then I'm like, and then I'm thinking about myself. I've said it before. I don't know how to be proud of myself, and I feel like when people say it to me, it's like it's met with you can be proud of me, but then it's like, oh, you don't do enough. You're not good enough. And I've been told that. I didn't do something good enough. I didn't do this task good enough. My grade in fucking science, my freshman year wasn't good enough. I didn't try hard enough, even though I tried.
Which freshman year? What, 9th
grade?
Your high school, you're holding on to that comment?
No, and I'm just
You
no.
got 3 kids. You're a grown
It's
man.
it's
You're
it's
walking around with your back pocket example of when somebody told you weren't good enough was ninth
no,
grade.
no, no. It's just I don't know. It is it's just all of that. It's all of that in one. And I
I mean,
feel
I can tell you to say you're proud of yourself to me feels arrogant. That's a very fine line that I don't know how to walk
yeah.
either. I don't want to be arrogant and I don't want to pat myself on the back especially because when you're a certain type of person and you're like, I know I could have done better. Why would I be proud of myself if I know I could have done better? But you only know you can do better because you got through it the way you got through it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting the echo?
It sounded like somebody was screaming in the background. You have a body back there?
No, I didn't hear anything over here on my end.
Oh, maybe it's.
Oh, it might have been because you're sitting on top of my laptop and it's trying to restart, and it's in a lot of pain. This laptop is on its last legs and I'm making it run a marathon. It's got, so yeah, it was probably the screaming of my laptop.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Can we
man.
just so just before we because you talked about reading a book, check out what I picked up at the local coffee shop.
The Langoliers.
The Langoliers. This is the
Oh.
So for the teleplay. This is I couldn't believe it when I walked in there. I left and I went back in and I said, what's the deal with these books here? I gotta buy these, and they go, no, you just take it.
Oh, really?
I go, I can take this copy, this mint condition copy of the Langoliers
Hell yeah.
teleplay.
Nice. That'll be great.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to look through that.
But anyways, it's just
Back
to
your lack of pride and shitty thought process about how you are, because you're not a shitty person and not a shitty husband and not a shitty dad because you think about these things. The worst thing you can do is be like the real problem is that the people who don't ask the questions, how can I be a better dad? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better human? They're the people that need to ask those questions more than anybody, because their blind spot is humanity. It's their own moral code. They think they're right about everything, and so there's no need to question it. There were people back in the 70s hitting their kids with belts, going like, perfectly fine.
right.
Yeah, this is what a good dad does. I need to teach them. But I also go like, I don't have kids, so I get to say this. Maybe they were right. Because the kids that are growing up today are little fucking assholes that think that everything needs to be given to them. Some of them maybe getting hit with a belt would have helped. The world's an unforgiving, cold, cruel place, and you got to figure out how to navigate it. We don't teach our kids.
Yeah.
But I say that being a non-parent and knowing that if I ever have a kid, I'll never be able to hit him with a belt. I promise you that.
Yeah. I don't know. And I think the real problem is like you can tell me how great I am, but I don't believe it. And I think part of it is I think part of it is because of how I grew up. I think it hangs on with you. And yeah, hanging on to a comment like, oh, you got the C on the whatever physical science says.
It was a C. It wasn't even an F. You motherfucker.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. It sticks with you, and then it molds like who you are on the inside. And
it's surprising to me that you went into something that you get feedback from people like radio, and you like standing up and like doing the emceeing for the comedy stuff and like doing the DJing. It's like that's all stuff where you put your neck out on the line and to be told that you're bad. If you're good, not many people are going to come out of the woodwork to tell you that. It's very surprising to me that like with this thing that you hold on to in your chest, which is a C on a fucking C.
That's not what it. That's not. That was just an example.
I'm just joking. All right, but it's just interesting to me because you're putting yourself out there to get those negative reviews, and in this day and age, you can't please everybody, and everybody's got a phone and everybody's got a platform, so you're just asking to get bad intel. So you're setting yourself up for failure, which for you is success because it feeds into your mentality where you go, oh, look at that. I am right. I was a piece of shit. Look at this guy agrees with me. 99 other people don't, but this guy does. So he's the one I'm going to focus on and go. He was right, so I was right.
I haven't really gotten any negative feedback about my radio show in a long time. I haven't gotten any negative.
Yeah, but you take no feedback as bad feedback.
I haven't gotten any feedback at all about my radio. Well, I got some
I know.
recently.
I've heard you say stuff about it.
But in DJing weddings, I do fine. I don't like doing them, but I do fine. I get compliments. People keep reaching out and say, "Oh, I saw you here. You want to do my wedding, or you want to do my thing?" And so sure, I'm fine at doing that. And that's part of the problem too, is that I just keep doing more and more and more and more. I can't say no, and I think part of it, and part of the reason why I put myself in positions like DJing weddings, like emceeing events, like interviewing Packers in front of a crowd. I do like. I guess I like the attention that I get when it's positive in that moment. But I also can't say no. And maybe I'm chasing that. Maybe I'm chasing the positive reinforcement from it because I never really got it. And I did, I got it in some aspects. I got good grades for the most part. I got, I did things, but it's like my parents weren't at my football games. They weren't at my things, my sporting events. And then I stopped doing sports. I was in some musicals in high school or whatever. My mom came to those. Concert choirs or chorus concerts when I was in those, they never came. And it's just like, so I don't know. Maybe it's like I am chasing this thing.
You ever talk to your mom about that?
I've well, the part of it is where I get when it comes to that, I get a little frustrated and more jealous than anything. Is that it happened for my brother. It happened for my younger brother. Partly because, well, he was the only kid in the house. So at the time growing up, I'm 13 years old.
Also because your parents learn lessons just because they're humans the same way we are. I've talked to my parents about that. It kills my mom, the things that she missed in my life. And she hates it when I bring them up. And I've had actual conversations with her that like got to be emotional, where it's like, she's just like, when me and Michael were at certain points in our lives, she had 3 younger kids, one of them deaf, that she was trying to, balance this crazy household. And like, back at that time, like things weren't great all the time in our household. Like our dad he went out and drank and things like that. So it's like, sometimes it was unreliable to who was going to be around and when things were going to happen. I'm not putting that on him. It's just like we had a chaotic upbringing when we were kids. But I've sat down and talked to both my parents about that. It's not a bad idea to just go like, if it's bothering you, or if it's something that you think about this much, or not even that you think about this much, but when it comes to the forefront, you go, hey, this might be part of an issue that relegates who I am as a person. It's not a bad idea to sit down and have some coffee with your mom, adult to adult, parent to parent, and just go like, hey, what was going on back then? Like, why did you miss these things? How do you feel about it?
I know what the reason is. She works 6 days a week. And it just,
well, there you go. Okay, logically, yeah, she works 6 days a week. Get her emotional answer.
I don't know if she's equipped for that, to be honest.
I think push her on it then. You need to hear something.
I've made comments about stuff. Like an example, my brother's gonna turn 21. Okay, pretty soon. I love my bro. It's gonna be happy birthday to him soon. She was talking about the present that she was gonna get him. I made the comment. I said, "Hey, what'd you get me for my 21st birthday?" And you know what the answer was? Nothing.
Don't remember.
No, I got nothing. I'm pretty sure that, and she has consistently bought him birthday presents his entire life, every single year. I didn't get that. And that's fine. At this point now, I'm fucking going to be 34. I don't need presents. I have what I need, but, I'm just like, that kind of like just irritates me a little bit. out of jealousy
So it's
more than
not
anything.
it's not fine. It shapes who you are, and you have to either figure out how to. I mean, like we say that to ourselves all the time. Oh, it's fine. This is fine. I had to go through this with when I was back in Wisconsin, and I went to see my real dad,
Oh, you did see
and
him?
yeah, I did see him,
Mm.
and he didn't know I was coming. It was on Father's Day, which I'm not too particularly happy about, but but it is what it is. Um, he didn't even know I was coming. It was a surprise, and I walked in the room, and he like to me like it's you haven't seen me in 2 years. I live in California now. You think he would get up and give me a hug, right?
Yeah.
No, didn't get up out of his chair. Still had a good conversation with him, and actually, he asked him. I had a conversation with him about California. That was kind of what I was hoping to get out of other people. It was very interesting, but I talked to my therapist about that encounter, and like I was like, it is what it is, fine. And she's like, yeah, but clearly it's not because it's something that you noticed, you hold on to, and you want an answer to. Like, and you don't. And she was like, why did you go in there in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't care about like if you say this is fine and you don't care about this relationship or you're not going to put anything into it. Well, you put a lot into getting up there. You had to borrow a car, you had to take a half-hour drive, you had to that's 3 hours of your time in Wisconsin that you spent there.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Like you got to look at that and go like there's a reason why this makes me feel a certain way. uh so it's not fine. It's okay that it's not fine. And you can logically go like, oh, well, she had more obligations or less money or she worked more back then or whatever the actual reasons are, they are real reasons. But there's an emotional aspect to it where it's like sometimes you just want to hear somebody go, I'm sorry I couldn't give you that. I really am. I regret it. And there's just nothing I could do in the moment. If I could go back, I would find a way to do it differently,
Yeah.
but I can't.
I don't know. I don't.
And
I don't.
that's what talking to your parents like they're adults. That's where that comes into this hallmark idea of closure that we've told ourselves exists. It doesn't really, but it helps.
Yeah. Well, after I made that comment, she kind of just laughed it off, and I'm like, and that was the end of it. And then like she,
But wouldn't you do the same? It's an uncomfortable situation. You have to
yeah,
push people on uncomfortable, awkward situations, or they're gonna. If you let them laugh it off, they will absolutely. That's the path of least resistance is to go, haha, yeah, that's right. Uh,
yeah.
don't let them get away with that. Don't let her get away with that. Go, hey, why is that?
Well, and it's like, well, in some other conversations happen where like I would say something, and then she's like, that's not how it was, and I say, I was like, yes, it was. Like when
To you.
to me, I said something along the lines of like, I had to do my own laundry in fifth grade. I had to do my own laundry. I think starting in fourth or fifth grade, I did my own laundry because if I didn't, and again, this is not, I'm not bashing on my parents. I'm not. Um, this is just the reality of it. If I wanted clean clothes to wear to school and not be the dirty kid, the dirty, chubby fucking kid at school, I had to do my own laundry. So then at least I could be the clean, chubby kid. I was chubby, regardless of what anybody says. I was. I was overweight. I ate
No, I've
poor.
seen the pictures. You were chubby. You were chubby.
Thank you. Um,
You've come a long way. And it's a good thing Ryan took the hit on the fish smell for you so that you didn't,
yeah, but it's I did my own laundry. Did I do it 100% of the time? No. Did I do it 60, 70% of the time? Absolutely. I did my own laundry.
this is where the idea of like I don't like to call it trauma, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through this right now with that. I told you about the whole thing at work with the body.
Huh?
Did I tell you about that?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I found a dead body at work.
Oh, no, you did not tell me this.
And like, so people have been like, it's like, the few people I've told or whatever, they're like, oh, are you okay? It's like, of course I'm okay. What am I supposed to be? There's no way to like, you don't get to like, just be like, I'm not okay. Well, it's
Yeah.
traumatic. Well, but I don't like to think about it, how you move forward and go like, oh, I had a little trauma yesterday, just a little trauma yesterday. That's going to change. It's like, reframe it. And you can reframe these things at any point. Sometimes it takes 15 years to figure out how you want to reframe something in your life where in terms of like with like the laundry thing. You learned how to grow up before most kids do. Is that good or bad? In the
Yeah,
moment, it sucks, but in the long run, it's actually a good thing. And it's okay to just go like, you know what?
you're
Now
right.
I have to tell my friends how to do their stinky underwear, you know? Like
Well,
they
right, but the point of it was like, I was trying to give like perspective to my kids because I'm just like, and maybe for selfish reasons, I want my kids to be like, you are a good dad. And they don't tell me that. I never told my parents that. You
that
probably didn't
doesn't
tell your
come until
parents.
later,
I know,
man.
I know. I want it now. Damn it! I need some validation.
But
But I was,
it's the same thing with the being bored thing where it's like the more stuff you do with them, the more they're gonna say they're bored when you don't.
yeah,
Because you've set the bar high for what a day can entail for them.
yeah. I guess
I
you're.
mean, back in the day when we were growing up, your mom worked 6 days a week. My mom was stay at home and had a house to run. My dad was working all the time. We had five kids and no money to go do stuff. Like there was no weekly events that we went and did. It was you go outside and boredom. Go outside and make up a world out there. And the more, like, the less that you do as a kid, the more you have to make up to just get through your childhood. And it can be a good thing. It garners like this imagination and this thought process for us. I think the more we give our kids, like, it's like the more they think that they're entitled to, and it's like, no, sometimes you got to make your own fun, make your own world, make your own way, and think about things a little differently. It's not a bad thing for them to sit in that stuff, but yes, the more events you take them to every weekend, the weekend that you can't, they're gonna go, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Life sucks. Well, it's like, all right, yeah, it does. Guess what? Get used to that, buddy. Because it ain't getting any better, and I'm right there with you. You want to talk about it? Let's get the paper.
Yeah, you're right. I know.
But
It's
you're
not.
not
It's
a
not
bad
easy.
dad just solely for the fact that you ask yourself the question, am I a bad dad? In my opinion, that's just me.
Well, it's just like, well, I mean, that's just a part of it. The other part is like, I wanna feel good about myself. I want to feel like I'm worthy, that I'm important, that I am capable of doing things. I know I am. I know I've accomplished a lot, but I just don't know how to. I don't know how to feel good about it. I've lived so long, probably almost my entire existence, in a state of just like almost like the sadness, almost like the grief and all that is like, it's like comforting. It's a world that I've,
Well,
huh?
that is the case. It is comforting.
Yeah. And it's hard,
Uh,
it's hard to leave, but it's also making me like sad as shit. And I don't want to be that. Like I can be happy. I have moments of happiness. I'm not sad all the time, but sometimes when I just like there's just like times where it's just all like something is said, a phrase is said, or something is done. I see something, and it just like overflows, man. And then I'm just like, or I have like I have a paper I need to write. I have 300 pages that I have to read for school this week. I have all this stuff, and then I got a kid that's screaming. I got a kid that's bored. I got a kid that wants me to buy, spend thousands of dollars on a car, and it's just like, what the fuck, and this is every parent. I'm not a unique case. I love being a dad. I love my kids. Like I wouldn't change it, but I've been a dad almost half my life already. I'm only 33. At 36, I will be a parent for half of my life, 50% of my life, because I was a kid. At 17 years old, I think it was the first time where my dad like showed me like, hey, you're in a tough spot, but it's gonna be like, you'll figure it out, and I'm here for you. That was the first time like that I ever felt that. It took 17 years to get to that point. He was the first one when I said that I'm going to be a dad when I was 17 years old, a junior in high school. He said he just said like, "Oh, what are we going to do with you? We're going to figure this out. We're going to work together." And that's when like kind of that relationship I think blossomed, honestly. My mom hung up when she heard. She probably didn't know how to respond to it, but do you need me to pause?
no, you can keep going. It's gonna swap, so I might miss a second.
I'm like on a manifesto here. I'm finding the light, and you're
That's
switching
yeah,
technologies.
that's why I'm saying let it go. Just keep going, man.
You're changing blue lights.
I didn't hit the button.
So
now I hit the button.
Go ahead and hit it.
I hit it.
Oh,
button's been hit.
But it's just
your picture is on the computer. It's coming up.
Is it?
It's gonna swap pretty soon.
All right.
Yeah,
but it's just
20 more minutes. It'll swap.
I forgot what my point was.
Well, you're talking about when you told your parents about and the fact that you've been a parent your entire adult life. You have never been an adult, which is an interesting thing in and of itself. You've never had the opportunity to go like, "Hey, I'm a 19-year-old kid that's got a car and no responsibility. I'm going to jump in my car and go to Stevens Point because I hear it's all happening up there. It's the greatest place on the planet," is what I was told.
It's strange that you picked that city.
Why is that?
Because that's where Carissa went to college, and every time it's like she idolizes that place. Fuck Stevens Point. I hate it.
All my friends took off and went to Stevens Point when they got sober.
What?
The ones that the fringe group friends or whatever, like my good friends, they all passed away. But when people started to pass away, I had other like the friends of friends that they scattered and they all went to Stevens Point. And so in my head, like that's always like, what's going on at Stevens Point? Everybody's going to Stevens Point. It's got to be a great place up there. I only went there once to drug related.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Still loading.
They were there.
We're still on the phone here, but either way, that was why I went to Stevens Point in my head.
I don't know what my point was. I don't remember at this anymore, but I'm sure people are like, "Oh, this guy's just bitching. He's fine. He's got a good life, and he just is ungrateful or whatever." But it's just maybe I think my point was like, I'm sure my parents told me they were proud of me. You would have to think, but I don't remember it. I don't, and they say it now sometimes, but then it's just like you'll say it, but then your actions don't necessarily seem to back that up. And I don't know.
Oh, it's saying it's calling you.
It's calling me?
Yeah. Sorry. No, you're well that's okay, so here's the thing with that. Like to you, I don't know if you would remember if your parents told you that
you're right.
They were proud of you.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's the thing that you forget.
Probably.
You remember the C on the science test, or whatever.
I don't know that I was a C. I think I passed science, to be honest.
You get my point, where it's like
geometry was my bad class.
Some people remember the good things, and some people remember the shitty things, and
well, why is it that I remember the shitty things and not the good ones?
Because you choose to, because it's comfortable for you. Yeah. You've already said it. You've already come to your conclusions in this podcast. That's your comforting space. I've been there too, and I was going to say before, but I was trying to let you talk for a while or whatever. But it's not as hard as we make it out to be to just change our mentality and just go, you know what? I'm good enough. I am. It just really does take a little. It's so simple, but it's so difficult. It's the biggest hurdle you'll ever jump over, being somebody that thinks the way that you think. But as soon as you jump over it, you'll go like, I can't believe it was that easy.
Yeah.
Like when I moved out here, I made it a point to go like, all right, start talking to people. You suck at this, but whatever. And I remember the day when I was like, you know what? I'm actually pretty happy with who I am and how I am. And there's, things about myself that, I want to work on, but I'm okay with this part of myself. I'm okay with the fact that I question myself and I get down on myself sometimes because it makes me grow as a better human. And that's how I'm going to look at it from now on. It's no longer going to be about me versus me and me saying I'm a piece of shit and I should go jump off a fucking bridge or whatever. It's going to be about the fact that I'm going, why do I feel this way? Oh, I can grow from that. I like having those internal monologue battles about my own logic so that I'm not stuck in a blind spot telling people how it is when I don't know shit. I like to not know things. And once I realized that, I went, okay, this is a good thing. I can like this about myself. The thing that I thought that made me not like myself is the thing that I actually like the most. And then it's like from there, the dominoes start to fall, and you actually get a little bit of happiness, minute to minute instead of week to week. Where it's like once a week you feel good about yourself. But when those dominoes start to fall, it becomes like, oh, I had a whole day where I was just like fucking killing it today, and I'm happy about today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always, it never is, not for anybody, but it is. It's more simple than we want to let ourselves believe.
Do you you have these conversations, like, are you looking at yourself in the mirror?
No, it's just any given time, all the time. Your brain's always firing. I wake up with that stuff firing.
I was gonna say,
Like I'll wake up in the middle of going, "Why are you this way?" And I'm going like, What do you mean? Why am I what way? I didn't even. I've been asleep, man. What are you talking at me for? And then it's you kick off from there.
So you have these conversations with yourself sometimes on the street, and then does somebody give you $1 afterwards?
I've gotten money. I think I make good points.
They pay you for the wisdom, not because they think you're
Yeah.
homeless.
They stick around. They stick around till I get to my point.
Like, wait a minute. Well, next bus. He's on to something. We're gonna get through this.
Yeah. We're gonna let this one go.
I was gonna say, like, if you say to yourself in the mirror, like, I was wondering if you're clothed, or like, are you like, I'm in the flesh. I'm the way I entered this world. Nothing on me, not even my glasses. So I see this blurry blob. I have to get real close.
I'll try that. I don't even recognize the man in the mirror. Well, put your fucking glasses on, you idiot. Oh yeah, thank you, Brain.
I can't see him. Yeah. You have to get like 2 inches away from the mirror just to see your face clearly. That's how I am, at least.
Hey, that's yeah. I'm pretty close to that. To tell you the truth, I'm pretty bad.
Yeah, my vision's horrible. Maybe that's a metaphor. Maybe my vision is bad because my self-image is also bad.
Yeah.
I think I have good qualities. I don't like.
I know you have good qualities. I know you know that.
Yeah.
You're a hard worker. You know that you care. You know you empathize and sympathize with people. But some of us want we want some kind of recognition for the type of person we are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. I feel like you're kind of like that the same way I've been in that boat where it's like you're kind of like, I want people to know that this is the type of this is who I am. I want people to see me for who I am, and I don't think they do. I think they see a caricature. I think they see, oh, that's Drew. He's the dad. He's been a dad his whole life, and that's what he is. And it's like, no, you're a lot more than that, And it's like it's very easy to dismiss, but I don't think people actually dismiss you that way. I think you just worry about it.
I don't know. I think you're right. You're right. And I know some people look at me as a caricature. I know people have said that, even like when they listen to like this podcast and they said something to Carissa, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's obnoxious," and it's like, and I held on to that.
What'd they say about me though? What'd they say about me?
It was an episode with her and I.
Oh, they don't even listen. All right, never mind. I don't care about them. Go on.
But they, yeah, and I held on to that. I still hold on to it, and I hold a little resentment towards them about it, honestly, because I'm like, that hurts my feelings. And like, if you're like, you look at me as like a clown, yeah, can I try to like, do I try to be like the funny guy sometimes? Sure. I like making people laugh. Like I like joking around, I like cracking jokes. I think I'm better at it than a lot of other people. I do. I really do. Like I think I'm funnier than a lot of other people. And maybe I'm not, but I think I am.
I think you're better at it. There's a lot of people that don't go that route,
Yeah.
Because they can't.
Right. But so like, and I think like when they're like, "Oh, he's obnoxious," I was just like, "Oh, all right, well, that's the shit that hurts me." But yeah, you're right. Like I don't want to be this caricature of the guy that's obnoxious or says stupid shit, because I'm more than that. And I don't think I say stupid shit that much. Sometimes, for sure, I do, but it's never like bad. It's just dumb, you know. But yeah, I don't know. And you're right. Like, why I even think after Madison was born, like my good friends, Ryan included, and now he's a dad. Congratulations to him, by the way.
Yeah, that is. I need to call him.
Beautiful
I
baby.
texted him.
Yeah,
I should call him.
I text him as well. So the problem is like now it's like, okay, where were you guys like fucking 10 years ago? Like, come on. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I could see you being serious about that, but no, it's because you're not.
But yeah, when Madison was born, it turned into...
You know what that would mean if he had a kid 10 years ago, who he'd be with. No good.
Oh, yeah, fuck her. Oh, God. And you know what? And this goes to show I am dedicated to my friends, because the second that they broke up, I unfriended her on everything, and I said, I hate you. You have ruined my friend's life in this moment. You wasted some of his formative years. And I think because like my formative years were shifted a little bit. And I love my daughter. I'm like I think being a teenage dad has helped me in a way, like be the person I am, even though I'm sad sometimes. You know what I mean? But like for the better. Like she really, you know, I've gained a lot of I've taken the safe path on some things, but I've also taken, I think, paths that I normally wouldn't have, and to the point where I wouldn't be in the job that I have now and stuff like that. And I'm happy where I'm at professionally. But I forget where I don't know where I was going.
Yeah, we were talking about what's her name. Let's not, you know. I was just saying you didn't even wait the customary 3 weeks to see if anything, you know.
No. Oh, yeah, I hate it.
Right into the deep end of hatred.
I hate her, and I still don't like her. Still don't like her at all. And it worked out for Ryan in the long run, which is great.
Yeah.
He's very happy, and I'm very happy for him. So I mean, you know, all good things come from sad stuff, but it's just yeah, she's wretched. I don't like her.
There we go. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
I'm a good friend.
That's you. That's the point.
I picked my boy over anybody.
Be proud of yourself for that, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Start there and go, you know what? I'm a damn good friend. Loyal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am loyal. Your enemy is my enemy, Rob.
When I get them, I'll let you know who they are.
I know some
PG&E.
of them. I know some of them.
DuPont.
Who?
DuPont.
DuPont?
Yeah.
Isn't that a company?
Yeah, the massive.
They're your enemy?
Yeah, they're my enemy.
Why?
Oh, they poisoned the planet, man. They poisoned all of us.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I thought you were
3M really made the product, but DuPont, you know, they had no qualms about releasing it to the public. Anyway, let's move on from that because we don't have enough time.
I thought you were going to say, you know, Rab. He's your enemy, isn't he? Or he was.
Rab?
Rab, right? Wasn't his name Rab? Chris Rab?
Chris Rab. You mean Rap?
Rap. That's what it was.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've moved past that. I mean, the guy stole some stuff from me after my older brother. It was more because my brother let him in off the street to sleep on the couch. Like this guy was homeless and like didn't have anywhere to go. And we let him sleep on the couch. I woke up and go to work, and he goes in my room and steals $500 and some pills from me.
Was it like ibuprofen?
What's that?
Was it like ibuprofen? Some Benadryl? You had allergies?
Yeah, it was definitely over the counter. I'm sure of that. From what I remember that time period, I was hard on the over the counter stuff.
Yeah, aspirin. You were really concerned about like.
But it was the big pills, man. It was the 800 mils.
Yeah, those aren't cheap.
You don't steal those. You don't steal those from people.
Right. Yeah, you have body aches, for God's sake. You gotta. You know.
And plays, you know. But so it was more the like betrayal of trust in my older brother. I think that made me hold on to that one because otherwise money's money and doesn't matter. But I wouldn't call him my enemy anymore. not my friend, that's for sure. But it's been 15 years since that happened. He's probably changed. I'd like to believe that we all change, and hopefully we'll all get better.
I hope he's dead.
Well, that's because you're a good friend and you're on my side.
We can shift things to I do want to address a pretty big event that happened over the weekend. Pretty wild, and like it's strange because he was an important figure regardless of how you feel about it. Okay, you might be. I do think there were some people that really loved him, and I think there's people that really like despise him. All right, but nonetheless, we can't go on the show, and I know people don't like to always talk about current events and things that happen. There's opinions about everything, but this was such a big thing that occurred. I think it was, what was it, Saturday? That we have to talk about it just as humans. Richard Simmons died.
I know.
What the fuck?
And no one was talking about it.
I know.
And I was like, what? What do you guys? What is everybody talking about that you're not talking about Richard Simmons passing away?
What could be more important?
This is an icon of decades.
Right. Sweating to the oldies.
Yeah, and I will say, some people really do dislike Richard Simmons.
I know, because he's gay. Like, who gives a shit?
I don't know. I don't know if it was the red leotard or the just, they didn't want to get up off the couch.
You're right.
They didn't want to put their arms in the air, and they didn't want to get a sweat going.
He pushed them to the limits, and they couldn't reach them. They didn't want to address. They didn't want to look at the elephant in the room, which could have been themselves. Let's face it. My mother had Sweatin' to the Oldies on VHS, and me and my sister would watch it frequently, and we would do the exercises. I don't know why. My mom never was like, put this in and do this. We just did. And fucking Richard Simmons, man, like there
was something about that era when you go back, and I don't know, like with the hair or what, like you had your Bob Ross, you had your Simmons, like people were be artsy and athletic, and these people were trying to change the world,
right?
And it's like I remember Simmons when he was doing the talk show circuits and then like cameos. He would show up in random shows out of nowhere.
He was on Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Which is an episode that we should all go watch.
Absolutely, you should go watch. An icon, nonetheless. They're making a biopic or a biopic about him that he did not approve of. Do you know who was going to play Richard Simmons in that movie?
Carrot Top.
Pauly Shore.
Okay, that's pretty close, actually. I'm pretty close. Obscure comics from the 90s. I actually really love Pauly Shore. Funny Pauly
as
Shore's
shit.
Great. And honestly, go back and watch any of his. He was huge in the comedy movies. What is in the 2000s, early 2000s, late 90s?
90s, yeah.
Biodome, Encino Man.
Yeah. Was it Son-in-Law or something like that?
Son-in-Law. He was in the Army Now. Was it great?
A Goofy movie.
He was in Goofy movie?
Yeah, he played one of the characters. He played the friend. Who made,
that's right.
It's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa. And he actually, like, I'm actually a fan of Pauly Shore now. He's pretty fucking funny. Like, he's got a podcast. He always like throws gets random dudes to play in bands with him, and he like performs music, and he runs. He still continues, I think, to run the Comedy Store because his dad was a magician, used to perform consistently in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, which is familiar to you and I.
Yeah. Do you know what I just found out? Just a different subject, but same line of thought. I just found out Willem Dafoe
is from Milwaukee.
He's from Appleton, but he started his career in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah. They're wild. Heather Graham is from Milwaukee.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's foxy. But yeah, Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore stuff now is that he's actually pretty funny. I've never seen like his current stand up, but like just when he's on podcasts and he's a guest, like he's funny as shit.
He's been doing it his whole life. He should be it's like I should look into his podcast or whatever.
Well, but he grew up at the
That's a comedy store. Yeah.
Sam Kinison used to babysit him sometimes. Could you imagine that?
No, that I would probably be a pretty well-behaved kid though if Sam Kinison was my babysitter.
I didn't think he was that funny.
Yeah, but he was scary.
Yeah.
So you don't sneak out. You don't want to get, I think through the eyes of somebody now, we don't understand how different he was from the people that were going up at the time.
Well, it's just like Hedberg too.
It was shockingly funny because of how different his deliveries were, I think, but he's got some great material. Trust me. But I wasn't a big fan of the yelling. So much.
I like Mitch Hedberg. He's pretty funny.
I've been getting a lot of Mitch Hedberg on my Insta feed.
Brody Stevens was like kind of in that ilk of Mitch Hedberg too. Like his comedy was just like it was way different, and he just kind of the way he presented himself in his jokes. Like you have to like just embrace.
Yeah, I like Stephen Wright. Stephen Wright was like a one-liner genius.
Yeah, Brody Stevens died unfortunately though. He was pretty funny. So yeah.
Well, we should probably mention, just for posterity's sake, like the reason that Simmons' death was overshadowed was because of I don't know, some plot against former president, but it doesn't matter.
Well, Shannon Doherty also died.
Right, Shannon Doherty died. So did Jacoby Jacobs, the football player, 40.
Oh yeah. What'd he die of?
I don't know.
Oh.
I just saw the ticker, I don't look into these things so much.
What a wild, yeah. Shannon Doherty. Again, charm.
Shannon Doherty was one that I didn't expect to see, that's for sure.
No, she had cancer. This is a bummer. Richard Simmons was 79 of all. Yeah, 79.
I still feel like that. I mean, I feel like that guy should have lived to be 150.
Yeah, he should have.
But it's all right. He's getting Jesus in shape now, so.
Someone's gotta.
Lord knows he needs it.
Hey-o. It's like a pun.
Yeah.
Get it?
Right.
Wow, because he is the Lord, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think it was staged?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. I believe it was staged. You'll never prove me otherwise. This guy's gonna win because of that. But
the camera angles, the instant camera angles are just like, come on.
And the fact that, to me, the fact that he was willing to fight back against his own Secret Service to like, come on, that's a great image, and it's gonna be. I saw something like this is gonna be in every history book. It's like it will, and it's terrible.
Yeah,
this is what we are. This is who we are.
And let's not.
I'm not happy about it.
Let's just gloss over the individual that died, protecting, covering his family. Like he was covering his family and got shot. And is dead because of it. So, but yeah, don't talk about him. Talk about it's
I don't know. Either way, it is what it is. We don't. I mean, there's nothing.
There's no winning.
Nothing good. Nothing good is happening. Every time I see any meme or any soundbite of either of these two people that we're gonna have to choose between, I'm just like,
I am in such a weird.
I'm over it.
Like, and not to get like super political, but I am in like a position where I really don't know what to do. I don't, because there's one person absolutely not that I will not vote for. You'd be out of your mind, in my opinion, to do that. But the other choice, I'm like, I can't. It's hard to vote for that person too. There is a candidate that I like. That I, for the most part, agree with a lot of the things that they present. But then it's like, well, it's not one of the two party systems or one of the, the main parties, Democrat or Republican. So
Republican,
it's like,
that's the other one. Republican?
Yeah, that one.
Just letting you know.
So it's like if I don't know.
But I voted Green Party, I think. I think it was Green. It was one the year then there were like 12 different people or whatever. And
Ralph Nader.
I think it's. I mean, I've voted third party before because to me, I go like, the president's a freaking scapegoat for Congress anyway,
Right.
and a bunch of local government not doing what they're supposed to do or doing what they're supposed to do, and then it all goes up the food chain. The president really, unless a Supreme Court justice passes away or a really bad vote is coming up in Congress that passes, and they need to veto it, that's the only time that their power matters, in my opinion. So it's more about the image that they portray
Mm-hmm.
to our
They're the
and
face.
what we got a guy who can't finish a sentence, and we got a guy who shouldn't ever speak.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. And then you have the guy that it's like it's rough to hear him speak, just because his voice, because he had a stroke.
Yeah, I
So,
so
yeah,
so,
it's,
you know,
I don't know, man. It's so weird, and it's just in a weird. I'm in a weird spot because I'm like, I think about it. I'm like, what if I'm the one vote? Which is impossible.
oh,
Never.
like that dream sequence where it's like you don't go vote and then he wins by one.
Yeah, or I vote for like a third party, and it's yeah, it's they're like, oh man, that's wild, huh? I mean, that will never happen. I see.
Did you see that? What was that Kevin Costner movie that they had where it was like
Swing vote. They picked one guy.
yeah, his vote actually was the vote that was going to like decide who was
Yeah.
president somehow.
Yeah.
Like such a weird. I never watched that, but it's like
It's an interesting premise.
it is an interesting. We all think about that. I think that's the thing that makes us go and vote, probably, or it's like because at this point, I'm not voting because I think because I want one of these people in. But yeah, it's like we've gotten to a point where it's like now we vote against somebody, not for somebody.
Right.
But even I was watching that movie Hidden Figures, and it was like, talking about during it, the Kennedy assassination happens, and it's on every station, and everybody's watching, and I watched The Irishman too, and it had that sequence, I think, with the Kennedy assassination, and it's everywhere. Everybody. I might be wrong about I might be getting the two movies mixed up. It might have only been in the one, but that was it. Yeah. So the Hidden Figures, they're watching the space shuttle launch. Everybody's watching. It's on every TV. In the Irishman, it's on every TV. The Kennedy is assassinated and all this, and I go like, I heard through a third person who heard through a third person or whatever that this Trump thing. I think I heard Trump maybe got shot at or something. Like there's no in this day and age we don't even care enough to like it's just like, oh, did you hear about that? Yeah, I guess that thing happened. Maybe did it? I don't well, I'll believe it. Yeah, it did.
We're in such a weird. I mean, I think the point we are where we are in the world of technology, I think it's great, but it's also like not good.
Well, Einstein called it out back in the day. He said that we're going to have these things that he described that are cell phones that are going to connect us more than we've ever been connected, whilst disconnecting us more than we'll ever. Like we'll use them the wrong way, and we absolutely do because, this is where you don't want to get into who's doing what, but it's like it's the same guy that's trolling the internet and just spewing whatever nonsense in comment sections is the same guy that's vote matters the same as as much as yours, and where people get their information matters, and you know what? I just decided I'm not going to get it anywhere anymore, and I'm not going to put it out there that way anymore. I feel the way I feel, and
I rarely watch the news.
I can't do it anymore. Yeah.
I
That's why we don't have anything interesting to talk about on this show, though. It's like we're not up to date on current events. I mean, Simmons' death got through, and this should go viral. This podcast just because we're bringing it to people's attention, but
not the personal growth or self-reflection that we're trying to accomplish. That's not important.
No, we really buried the lead on this episode.
That's not relatable at all. But Richard Simmons died. I mean, that's. Yeah. And
we did something. Yeah, we did something good today. We brought news to the people.
News that they haven't heard. News that isn't like 3 days
news
old
that
at
was
this point.
overshadowed.
Yeah. Anyways, buy our hats. You can buy hats now on TeePublic.
I know. I'm gonna get one. I just want to know if they're deep well or not. I don't want these. I like a hat like this, not one that's like. You know how there's like deeper ones.
I think they're trucker hats.
Yeah, they're called crowns or something.
I roll with the trucker hats for the most part. So
you have a head that's good for it. Me, I don't.
What does that mean? You seem to have a fat head.
Oh my God, it's a compliment, man. That's what's in right now. Me, I
Fat
don't.
heads?
They push my ears down.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Well, maybe they need to be pushed down.
Look at that. It's terrible.
You're right.
So I walk around the street like that. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you hear better
right.
with the trucker hat on?
No, no. I like this hat's like a baseball hat. It's not as deep, so it stays up above my ear line.
Yeah.
I like these better. I'm trying not to do the hat, but I need a haircut really bad.
Why are you trying not to do the hat? You don't have anything to hide?
I just think it messes up, like, because in the times when I don't want to wear a hat, wearing a hat all the time like messes up the way that your hair is trained, so you can't just not wear a hat.
Right.
If I could just get if I could keep up on the haircuts and just not wear a hat, I would be absolutely ecstatic about that. But
Yeah.
I'm bad at doing adult things like that.
I wear
So
hats all the time. That's why my hair looks like this right now. But for consistency sake, what's your girlfriend's name?
Shonda.
Awesome. I drank Three Sheep's Southern Silk, a bourbon aged imperial stout, cocoa nibs, vanilla, and pecans. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish the whole bomber. It's delicious. It's a sipping beer. It's good. It reminds me of my father's bourbon pecan pies, which were amazing. I miss them. I miss him. Yeah. So if your family has a secret recipe or something like that, make sure they write it down. So then maybe one day you can recreate it. Because otherwise you'll sit and wonder how to do it, and you'll never be able to perfect it, and you'll never be able to do it, and then you'll just sit and never taste it again, and forever miss it.
What a downer way to end the episode.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Richard Simmons. Please do some sit-ups until failure. Okay, in his honor, throw on some Donna Summers and just fucking do push-ups or sit-ups until you physically cannot, until you collapse on the ground. Shed one tear for the man, and keep watching for the skies, as Casey Kasem said. He said something along the lines of, "Keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars."
I like that.
Yeah, I'm Casey Kasem. That doesn't sound like him at all.
Actually, it's not terrible. It's better than mine.
Casey Kasem, a true icon. He's dead too. All right.
We're really just going right down the drain.